I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
In 1960, director John Sturges took the Akira Kurosawa classic Seven Samurai and made it into one of the greatest westerns of all time, The Magnificent Seven. Now this remake is getting remade, as The Magnificent Seven rides again this weekend, with director Antoine Fuqua and his Training Day stars Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. Now whether or not it'll become as beloved as its predecessors remains to be seen, because even though westerns were some of the biggest films back in the days of old Hollywood, they've also ended up becoming some of the biggest flops in the days of new Hollywood. Case in point, the 1999 six-shooting shit pile known as Wild Wild West. Now here's a movie where everything was working in its favor. It was based off the hit 60s TV show about secret agents kicking ass and solving mysteries in the Old West. It reteamed director Barry Sonnenfeld with star Will Smith after their enormous success with Men in Black. Its theme song was a #1 hit, and it had its own burger at Burger King.
The delicious Western Whopper.
Now how the hell could this go wrong? Well, how about scathing reviews, millions of dollars lost at the box office, and winning the Razzie Award for Worst Picture, as accepted by original Wild Wild West star Robert Conrad, whom Will Smith personally apologized to for making this movie, after it almost sunk his career for good. So now I'm gonna find out whether this infamous megabomb is wanted dead or alive. And don't you worry, Will Smith, I am going to be completely fair towards your performance in this review.
Tell the truth.
Oh, trust me, I totally will.
Tell the truth.
Look, I just said I would tell the truth. God, jeez. So like the original TV show, this flick is set in the South of 1869, as it follows our protagonist, Captain James West, played by Will Smith, and U.S. Marshal Artemus Gordon, played by Kevin Kline, whose paths cross when they find out they're hunting down the same man, under the orders of President Ulysses S. Grant, also played by Kevin Kline, for the sake of a running joke where Artemus keeps disguising himself as the president. Actually, it's not a joke, because it's not fucking funny! The man they're hunting down is Confederate General Bloodbath McGrath, played by Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, who's committing treason by assisting the villainous Dr. Loveless, who has been changed from a dwarf like he was on the show to a legless Confederate scientist riding in a steam-powered wheelchair, played by Kenneth Branagh, who is now getting revenge for his lost legs with the help of his harem of sexy female assistants. Wait a minute, is that Sindel from Mortal Kombat Annihilation? Has she managed to find work after Too Bad You Will Die? Huh, good for her. And as Loveless plans to kidnap President Grant and have him surrender the United States to Loveless and his group of evil foreign dignitaries, West and Gordon reluctantly agree to work together to foil his evil plans, with the help of a kindly saloon dancer played by Salma Hayek and Artemis's seemingly endless supply of nifty gadgets.
All right, Mr. West, we'll settle this like men.
Huh, a button that you're not supposed to push, which activates a secret weapon. That seems slightly familiar.
Don't ever touch the red button.
Yes, as much as Barry Sonnenfeld and Will Smith try to recreate that Men in Black magic, they miss the mark considerably, and end up with a movie that represents the very worst inexpensive action blockbusters. On one hand, you'd think all these steampunk gadgets would be cool, but yet they manage to take all the cool out of them, because they literally pull gadgets out of their ass just to move this plot forward. How can West and Gordon get captured by Dr. Loveless? Why have Salma Hayek accidentally set off a sleeping gas bomb? How can West and Gordon catch back up to Dr. Loveless? Why, by building the world's first fucking airplane decades before the Wright brothers would. Of course. How will Loveless manage to kidnap the president? Why, by riding around in a giant robot spider. And why the hell is there a giant robot spider in a fucking western? Because the producer of this flick, John Peters, wanted to keep it from that canceled Superman movie he was gonna do with Nicolas Cage and Tim Burton, according to that Superman movie's writer, Kevin Smith.
Some things I want you to do and don't in the script. He's got to fight a giant spider in the third act.
And you'd think this would all be forgiven if Will Smith and Kevin Kline shared some sharp, witty banter with each other. But nope, this movie's humor is so damn lowbrow and desperate, it resorts to lame-ass jokes straight from the 70s sitcom handbook.
Touch my breast. You happy, Gordon? I'm touching your breast.
I knew it.
Ha 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 ha! Gay panic!
When you're telling this story to your grandkids, you make sure that you leave this part out.
Because sucking dicks is the worst, am I right? And what a shame, because it has a fairly solid cast, doing the best they can. Will Smith is charismatic as always, Kevin Kline is dry and witty, Salma Hayek does all she can with her insignificant part, and Kenneth Branagh is so campy with his southern accented villain that you'd think this performance was his audition tape for becoming the next Colonel Sanders.
Don't you just hate that song? Manhattan for a handful of bees? How?
But all of them are let down by a lousy script to a garbage heap of a movie. The characters are barely developed, the jokes are awkward, the plot makes no sense, and the tone hops from the slaughter of Confederate soldiers 1 minute to boob fondling jokes the next minute. It goes to show you, you can throw all the money you want in a movie, but you can't make that money write you a good script. No need to worry though. Will Smith and Barry Sonnenfeld's careers ended up surviving this shit sandwich. Will is back doing hit summer blockbusters, while Barry Sonnenfeld has moved on to do, yeah, no, I take that back. Maybe not everyone made it out of this movie alive.
I'm a cat!
Damn!
This movie is so bad, it calls for, in the words of Kevin Kline himself,
More scotch.
so hitch your horse and belly up to the bar for the awfully good drinking game. Take a shot or drink every time Will Smith cracks another bad one-liner.
You can't just go ramming a man's personal things into some hole like that.
That's it. No more Mr. Knife Guy.
Oh, that big Willie. He always makes me laugh. You remember when he did that Miss Cleo impression in Concussion? Oh, that shit was hilarious.
They want to pretend that his disease does not exist, and they want to bury me.
Call me now for your free tarot reading.
Will Smith is called something racist, or slavery is brought up.
We got us a shiny.
Comes my manservant.
Oh, why, yes, Master Gordon.
I haven't seen him in a coon's age.
Hey, after the movie, come on down to Burger King and get yourself some limited edition Wild Wild West sunglasses, because slavery is fun! Kevin Kline pulls out another invention, or disguise. Man, these disguises are so convincing, you can't even tell it's an Academy Award-winning actor forced to do a movie where he shoots a handicapped man in his robot spider legs.
Disappointed!
And take a double shot when you see Dr. Loveless's giant robo-dildo.
Wouldn't you think that I could devise something for the lower half of my body that was hard and pumping and indefatigably steely?
Oh, please tell me they didn't use that as one of the Burger King toys.
Wild Wild West action toys like James West and his horse.
And Dr. Loveless's giant robo-dildo. Collect them all at Burger King. And on the Nudie Watch, I would give this movie props for showing us a bit of Salma Hayek's heavenly ass. But it also has Kevin Kline and Will Smith dressing in drag. And I have the internet, so this movie can still go to hell. I mean, if you wanted to make these two guys look like convincing women, you could have asked Ted Levine. He knows a thing or two about dressing like a woman.
Oh, hell no.
On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, Wild Wild West is a vile, vile mess that rides into the sunset with a 3 out of 10. As awful as this movie is, hey, at least Eric Cartman liked it.
But man, me and Artemis Clyde Frog still have to do our love scene with Salma Hayek.
I'm Jesse Shea for JoBlo.com, and did you know that much like Wild Wild West, the Magnificent Seven also has a Whopper at Burger King? It's the Magnificent 7 Whopper. 7 patties of flame-broiled beef, topped with Uncle Denzel's secret sauce. The taste is magnificent. Oh, my arteries.
Well, I'm a badass.